1805. Europe is at war. Across the continent, Napoleon Bonaparte dominates battlefield after battlefield. His armies defeat Austria, crush Prussia, and humble Russia. On land, he appears unstoppable, but war is not decided by land alone. Beyond the shores of Europe, control of the seas will determine the fate of empires, and at sea, Britain stands supreme. Earlier that year, Napoleon wins a stunning victory at the Battle of Austerlitz. It is one of his greatest triumphs. Yet just weeks before that success, another battle fought on open water quietly seals his long-term fate. Off the coast of Spain, near Cape Trafalgar, the British Royal Navy clashes with the combined fleets of France and Spain. The result is decisive. At the Battle of Trafalgar, Britain shatters its enemy's naval power. The loss is devastating. From that moment forward, Napoleon will never seriously threaten British control of the seas again. At the center of this historic victory stands a ship that would become legendary. HMS Victory, launched in 1765, HMS Victory was a first-rate ship of Linva. Most powerful class of warship in the world at the time, she carried 104 guns, spread across 3 massive gun decks. Her crew numbered more than 800 officers, sailors, and Marines. Constructed primarily from British oak, Victory required thousands of trees in her building. Her massive wooden hull was strengthened for durability, while copper sheathing beneath the waterline protected her from shipworm and improved her speed. For decades, she served the Royal Navy in multiple conflicts. She fought during the American War of Independence, and later during the wars against revolutionary France. By the early 1800s, she was already considered old for a warship. In fact, at one point, she was nearly broken up, but history had other plans. In 1803, after a major refit, Victory returned to service as the flagship of Vice Admiral Horatio Nelson. 2 years later, she would sail into legend. A ship like Victory was more than a vessel. It was a floating fortress. Her lower gun deck carried massive 32-pounder cannons. Above them were 24-pounders. And on the upper decks, lighter 12-pounders in a single broadside. Victory could unleash a storm of iron capable of tearing through wooden holes at close range. Below decks, life was crowded and harsh. Hundreds of men slept in hammocks strung between the guns. The air was thick with smoke, sweat, and salt. Water had to be rationed. Food consisted mainly of salted meat and hard ship's biscuit. Deep in the hold lay the ship's most dangerous space, the magazine. Here, barrels of gunpowder were carefully stored. Strict safety measures were enforced: no open flames, no sparks. A single mistake could destroy the entire ship in seconds. Everything aboard required manpower. Raising anchors, adjusting sails, loading cannons. HT's task demanded teamwork and discipline. There were no engines. The wind was the only source of power, and yet these wooden giants could remain at sea for months, crossing oceans and projecting power across the globe.
Hold on, sir! Stay with us!
On October 21st, 1805, HMS Victory led the British fleet directly toward the enemy line at Trafalgar. Rather than fight in parallel lines, the traditional naval tactic, Nelson divided his fleet into 2 columns and broke straight through the Franco-Spanish formation. It was bold.
Hold steady, lad.
It was risky.
The bleeding's slowing. It burns,
It
Captain.
worked.
Fight it, you're not
Victory
leaving us.
herself sailed into intense enemy fire. Cannonballs smashed into her hull. Splinters tore through the decks. Dozens of men fell. Then high above the deck, a French sharpshooter fired. Nelson was struck. He was carried below to the ship's orlop deck, where the surgeon did what he could, but the wound was fatal. As the battle raged on, British gunnery and superior seamanship overwhelmed the enemy fleet. Ship after ship struck its colors. Before he died, Nelson was informed of victory. "I thank God I have done my duty," he reportedly said. The Battle of Trafalgar secured Britain's naval supremacy for more than a century. Napoleon would dominate Europe for years to come, but he would never command the seas. Today, HMS Victory still survives in Portsmouth, England. She is the oldest commissioned warship in the world and a symbol of an era when wooden walls defended a nation. But her true strength was never just oak. iron or gunpowder. It was the men who sailed her. Disciplined, experienced, relentless. They turned a ship into a weapon and a victory into legend.